his coaching staff as well. He made changes with both his hitting and pitching coaches, both from within the program, former players in Carrie Eberly and Vanessa Shippey Fletcher. Underway in Westwood. And it's Tinsley against Talon. Edwards has reached and scored a run. 4 of them in their first 4 games for number 44. With an on-base percentage of .733.
Kenny Gajewski talked about her last year as a freshman, knowing she was going to be outstanding, and she has just proven herself in this early part of her career. Just a fire plug, a fire starter, I should say.
Yep.
Spark plug.
You're getting your fires and plugs all mixed up, Smitty. Opening weekend for everybody.
Season,
players, coaches, announcers, umpires. John Baca, Ron Burkhart, Dan Cowan in blue today. Bruins at 2-2. Those 2 losses to Texas and a strikeout for Tinsley to start things off. They have wins over Maryland and USD this year.
Tinsley comes back with that off-speed pitch, and this is going to be the pitch that's important for her today. That rise ball, change-up combination is going to be a big part of what we'll see Tinsley throw. She can work it in the lower half of the zone and catches Edwards off balance on that pitch.
First pitch swing for Claire Tim, the right fielder, batting .375. She's got a home run in their wins over Northridge, LMU, Utah State, and UC Riverside. 3 of the 4 wins have been run rules so far for Oklahoma State.
Well, this is going to be their first big challenge. I mean, Tinsley is one of the premier pitchers in the country, so I think you know, seeing someone that can really elevate the ball up their eyes, throws a very good off speed, expands the zone, is going to be the challenge for Oklahoma State today.
Swings through it. And that's a 1-2 count. Both of these teams after today will be heading off to Clearwater on our Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational presented by Evo Shield. 40 games in 4 days coming your way starting on Thursday, and that's a bloop single out to right. Ramirez may have gotten injured on the play. Looked like she was fighting the sun all the way, and down to second base goes Tim. Alexis Ramirez, the sophomore from Whittier, California, who had been off to a really good start at the plate for UCLA. She is the injured player out and right. Come on as the DP swings a big bat, a freshman that UCLA is really high on. We'll see if she gets the call later, but we are ready to get back underway. Score that a double, by the way, for Claire Tim, so the number 3 batter, Carly Godwin, will step on with a runner in scoring position. Jacks that one high and deep and foul. Out towards Sunset Boulevard, just beyond the Pines. Hard hit off the glove of Brady, and Tim will hold at third. Runners on the corners here for Oklahoma State and the early threat in the top of the first.
Well, Godwin, after just bashing that ball, barely foul down the line, gets another pitch on the inner half that kind of leaks into the zone, and she gets it past Maya Brady, a base hit through that 5-6 hole. You know, I think that's a situation on pitches that are going to be a little off or a little inside. Brady, if she shades more to that 5-6 hole, might have a better opportunity to make those plays. And now the defense for UCLA is going to be pulled in the first and third situation.
And it's Caroline Wong who's batting .778. She's hit 2 home runs already this weekend. She was in a battle with Audrey Schneidmiller to be the starting catcher, and Caroline has really swung the bat well since she started out as the DP, and now Kenny's got a couple of weapons.
Coach Gajewski called her a gamer. He said, boy, I don't know in practice. You know, there was a lot of talk about her, a lot of hype. He's like, I don't see it. And as soon as the game's turned on, boom, she has just been on the rocket.
She's a good veteran presence, too, even though it's her first year in Stillwater. She played 4 seasons at Liberty, actually was here with Liberty when they knocked UCLA out of the NCAA tournament last spring.
It'll be interesting to see how UCLA attacks Caroline with the potentially second base open. I mean, obviously you don't always want to purposely load the bases, but sometimes a bases-loaded situation in this case is a little bit easier, especially with Pollard behind hitting just 250.
Pouillard is in the on-deck circle, so they might be extra careful here with Caroline. The count goes to 3-1. There's Jillian on deck, another transfer. She's from McNeese State. Yeah, full count.
It's that off-speed pitch again that Tinsley can show you in any count.
Wong slices that one the opposite way. The new right fielder is back. Megan Grant, it's over her head. She may have lost that in the sun, and a run will score. They choose to pitch to Wong, and she picks up the RBI.
You know, 3-1 count. Tinsley does a good job of throwing a changeup and gets Wong to swing through it, but then comes back and gives her a pitch on a 3-2 count. It's hard on the lower half, a curveball that just doesn't get out of the zone enough, and Wong just goes with it the other way. Megan Grant having a hard time trying to fight that sun, just moving from left field to right field, that ball tailing away from her, so big hit for Wong to score the first one of the game for Oklahoma State.
Pouillard, high fly ball out to left. Stevens has it. 2 down. Two on with 2 out for Katie Lott, the sophomore from Cypress, Texas. Katie played in 40 games last year, hit .370 in those appearances. Snap throw down to first, diving back in is Wong. One from Tinsley. Missed it up and away.
Tinsley's rise ball on the outer half to righties doesn't quite have the bite that it does when she tries to throw underneath the hands to those right-handed hitters. Lott does a good job of holding up.
2-2.
But that's it. That's the pitch that's going to be so important, that off speed that Tinsley just continues to throw often and on the corners, low in the zone. Hard to identify, really good tight rotation.
Popped her up. And Woolery's got it at first. So a couple stranded, but 3 hits for Oklahoma State to drive one in for the early lead.
ERA and then put the runs up. You know, but it really comes down to also competition. This is their first big test of the year.
First pitch swinging for Audrey Schneidmiller, 7, 8, and 9 coming up. Well, if you spend any time around Kenny Gajewski, sometimes the brutal honesty you can take you back a little bit, but he tells it like it is, and he was honest with it. Hey, there was a lot of anxiety coming into this season. Almost the entire starting lineup gone from last year. Your ace pitcher leaves Stillwater and goes to Norman. Kelly Miller, Maxwell, the transfer to Oklahoma. And he was like, we really did not know what to expect when we came out here. We had an idea of what we had, but that's a big leap from inter-squad scrimmages to playing against other teams. And he was really excited to see how the Cowgirls would play it out this year. He was also adamant this is a refresh, not a rebuild. Fly ball out to Stevens. She's got it 1 down. One thing that he has been really good at the last several years, he hits the portal and he hits it hard, and he's gotten some quality players to come and have an impact right away, and Wong is one of them.
Yeah, he loves recruiting out of that portal, especially, you know, upperclassmen who maybe are disillusioned and want to fall back in love with the sport again.
They're third in that Big 12 preseason poll. The top of that league is so strong with Oklahoma and Texas and Oklahoma State. Of course, the Sooners and Longhorns, their final season in the Big 12 before they head to the SEC next year. They are hoping to keep Bedlam alive in as many sports as they can. Here's Rosie Davis. Freshman from Tennessee who has earned the starting job at second base.
Yeah, she's young. She's going to make a couple little mistakes, but is very talented.
Bobbled by Brady. Looks like she took that one right on the sternum, too. So that is already her second error of the weekend.
And Davis going to get a pitch and roll it over, and it just takes a little bit of a hop at the end that pops up on Maya Brady, and because of that, you can see it's going to go off the heel of her glove, picks it up, rifles it over, but Davis runs pretty good, able to get down the line to error.
Already the 6th error of the season for the Bruins, and remember in their first Texas game a couple of nights ago, which they lost 3-2, 2 of the Longhorn runs came in innings when there was an error. Megan Bloodworth, the shortstop in that 9-hole in the lineup. Second year in Stillwater after transferring from Alabama. Launches that one. Right center, back it goes, and it's gone. Megan Bloodworth home run. First of the year for Megan. A 2-run shot, and the error proves costly.
Megan Bloodworth, transfer over from Alabama a couple years ago, struggled a little bit last year, but she has found herself a home at shortstop, a really good job defensively, and now the confidence has turned over into that batter's box as well. A pitch on the outer half, she just extends those hands and drives that ball the opposite way. That's a curveball that just doesn't get out of the zone enough, and Bloodworth is going to catch up with it. She lets it get a little bit deep and drives it the opposite way. That's a big 2-run home run for Megan Bloodworth in the 9-hole.
Out of that final spot in the lineup. And it's 3-0 Oklahoma State, and back to the top for Talon Edwards.
And one more point on that home run. That's an 0-2 pitch that Tinsley's just a little bit too close to the plate. You've got to make that curveball run a little bit more. Remember, Tinsley, just a sophomore. You know, she's learning as she goes as well.
Remember, on Friday night, the Reese Atwood home run for Texas was also on a 2-strike count.
Yeah, 1-2 count.
Edwards struck out on a changeup back in the first. And for Megan Bloodworth, her first home run since last March. She hit 2 against New Mexico State. They were her only 2 of the season. And she gets one here, backhanded at second. Edwards able to leg it out.
Talon Edwards just runs so well. You can see that ball as it starts to approach up the middle. Savipola with a good job going up there, but Edwards just a lot of speed in that leadoff hole.
6 different Cowgirls now have already reached base. Here's Claire Tim. Doubled and scored in the first. I'd like to welcome those of you that have been watching already. A great day around the sports world. Of course, the Super Bowl still to come later today. South Carolina, a huge basketball win over UConn to stay undefeated. And Caitlin Clark now 8 points away from the all-time scoring record, but a loss today for Iowa against Nebraska. Yes, by the way, breaking news, Taylor Swift has arrived at Allegiant Stadium. She is in the house. And a strikeout for Tinsley. 2 down.
Good rebound. Tinsley to pick up a strikeout in the second out of the inning.
That one's in the dirt. Edwards will advance to second. So a runner in scoring position with 2 outs here for Carly Godwin, who singled her first time up through the 5-6 hole. There's a rocket out to center back, and making the grab is Jadlyn Alchin on the edge of the track. Saved a run there. And pull behind Stanford, a team that's already lost twice to Kentucky. But look at last year to this year. They only had 4 regular season losses all year. And 2 here already. And all phases really still working to get going, the pitching, the defense, and the hitting.
Well, when you have young pitchers in the circle, you've got to have great defense, and you have to have an offense that put runs up on the board. That's almost like another defensive component of the game for you.
Palacios goes the opposite way, off the top of the wall, and she will be held to a long single. Well played out there by Claire Tim.
Very well played by Claire Tim. In fact, I thought that ball was leaving the yard. I thought there was opportunity for the Bruins to put a number up on the board. This pitch is on the outer half, and you can just tell the way it leaks back into the zone, and Palacios just goes oppo with it. And again, I thought this was leaving the yard. It goes off the top of the wall for an unfortunate long single for UCLA. It's fortunate it's a single, but it's unfortunate it didn't leave the yard.
Here's Savipola, and the 6th spot in the lineup.
And back to our conversation about, you know, last year's team, this year's team, the expectation. Every year, the expectation of UCLA, they have that target on their back. Everybody is gunning to beat them. And a lot of pressure on this program.
Trailing here 3-0. They have not had a losing record through their opening weekend since 2007, when they started the year 2-3. Chopped, and that'll get through, base hit. So back-to-back knocks for the Bruins here in the second.
Palacios and Pola are doing a good job of hitting the ball where it's pitched. It's really what all the Bruins need to do right now, is not overswing, see the pitch that comes, barrel it up.
Jadlyn Alchin, the transfer from Washington. She was at the Women's College World Series last year with the Huskies. Hit .289 with 6 home runs. Back home in Southern California. So far on the season, 5 for 21 RISP, but 3 of those 5 were off the bat of Maya Brady. So can one of the other Bruins come through?
You can already see the adjustments the Bruins are making here in the second inning, looking low, getting some aggressive swings.
Alchin behind the base, and the tag applied at second by Rosie Davis to get Savipola for the first out. Runners on the corners for UCLA, and I think they want to check. They want to review here.
This ball hit hard back up the middle. Good job by Davis to go all the way to the left side of second base, but brings her glove back, touches the base. Pola runs well. She makes it a tight play.
This will be a good look at it here. That's as close as it gets.
Yeah. Remember, it's got to be evidence, enough video evidence to overturn the call.
Call on the field was out at second. If they overturn this, the bases are loaded with nobody out for Taylor Stevens.
Looks
That angle look.
She looks out.
Advantage glove, yeah.
Yeah, that looks right there, right out.
Because that left foot is up in the air still.
Oh, it's close.
Everybody's getting a little restless here. This is taking a long time. And they will confirm the out at second base, 1 down. Palacios to third, Alchin at first for Taylor Stevens. In just her second at-bat of the season, she was not in the starting lineup as a fielder. She was in as the designated player, but due to the injury earlier to Alexis Ramirez, she has moved into the outfield. And her first at-bat of the ball game here. Chance to drive in a run. Getting her first start of the season out of Linwood, California. And Rosenberry's first pitch across for a strike. Kenny Gajewski told us pregame he'd love to keep Ivy in there for 6 outs for a couple of innings of work at least.
Rosenberry making a lot of changes through the fall season, working hard with Kerry Eberle, the new pitching coach for Oklahoma State, really working that hard drop ball.
Hot shot to second, the spin for one over to first base, not in time. They get one out, and a run is in as Palacios scores for UCLA.
This ball hit really hard at Rosie Davis, but I love the way the freshman is just able to stay composed and is going to pick this ball up immediately over to Megan Bloodworth, throw over to first, tight over at first base. Godwin with the good stretch, but really good wheels by Stevens to get down, to get that run across for UCLA. They're up on the board. It's now 3-1.
Tessa Malauulu is in the 9th spot in the lineup, the starting third baseman today. Hops up on Bloodworth, but she covers, and the side is retired. A run in for the Bruins. 3-1, Pokes on top. and UCF. Lexi Kilfoyle is the new pitcher. Kenny Gajewski, true to his word here. Ivy Rosenberry gets him through the first 2 innings.
Kilfoyle, the senior, a lot of experience, transferred over a couple years ago from Alabama. She's 2-0 on the year, 4 strikeouts in her 5 innings of work. She rolls a lot of ground balls.
And she'll step right in against the All-American Maya Brady. Top of the order here for UCLA. Looking to carry over some momentum from the 2nd inning when they scored their run. And did it with the bottom of the order. Maya walked her first time up. Right back to Kilfoyle. Going down.
Lexi Kilfoyle can be dominating when she has that repertoire of different pitches, low and hard in the zone. She throws an off-speed drop. It'll come in about 59 miles an hour. And then how about that over-the-top drop? 4-seam rotation. That ball's going to get up towards 69 miles an hour. So that speed variation between those 2 pitches that look very similar, the way she gets over the top of them, and look at where she gets her out distribution on the corner. She really does a good job of limiting damage by keeping the ball out of the white part of the plate, but that off-speed pitch is really what separates her because of that ability to throw that really hard drop down at the knees and then get that speed differential of about 10 miles an hour.
The red blotches where she gets her out, so she likes to paint those corners east and west. Swing and a miss from Megan Grant, who struck out on a screwball from Rosenberry back in the 1st.
Well, one of the new things that Lexi is going to be working on this year is elevating pitches a little bit more. Carrie Eberle said, I want to up look. I want something so the hitters can't just look down. And I love that. Even if it's a fastball or just something, you can't allow hitters to split the plate, whether it's inside, outside, or up and down.
I think Lexi and Cowgirl fans are excited to see. It'll be a lot of pitch by committee this year, but for the first time in her career, she has an opportunity to be the leader of the staff. She was behind Montana Fouts at Alabama, behind Kelly Maxwell here last year. Now it's her pitching room to lead.
Yeah, and she's also a 2-way player. She does swing the bat.
There are her numbers at both places. To the World Series with both of those programs.
Well, last year, toward the end of the year, she really did a good job. I think at one point, Kenny Gajewski said, I really even feel like she's our ace.
Her first strikeout, the 2nd time they get Grant. 2 down.
Well, Kilfoyle just can come in with that velocity up near 70 miles an hour, and she can also use that changeup. This one is just a hard, high drop ball, just a lot of power on this pitch. It is slightly elevated, even with that drop ball spin, and just gets Grant to swing through it.
Ramsey Suarez. She got hit, says home plate umpire John Baca. And did that hit the knob? Kenny Gajewski says that hit the knob of the bat.
Yeah, it looked like it went off the knob of the bat. Well, you can see that look right there. Looks like it went off the knob of the bat.
Yep.
And the reaction, too, also, of Suarez. She didn't try to leave the box immediately. That's always kind of how you can tell as well. Yep. Looks like the umpires are going to say got a piece of her hand.
All right, so Suarez to first and a 2-out base runner, and now Woolery is the tying run coming to the plate. Grounded out to first in her first appearance. Coyle delivers with a first pitch strike. And right at the second baseman, Rosie Davis. Side retired, one stranded. Kelly Inoue Perez now on the mic with us. And Kelly, so uncharacteristic, last night's outcome. What do you do with a game like that, and how do you guys prepare for today?
I think, it is early in the season, but, I literally said, I told the team, it's not very often as coaches that we can prepare them for moments like what just happened, meaning, we just got your butts kicked. What are you going to do the next day? And with that, it's a great opportunity today. It was definitely frustrating. It was tough, but we also know that we're just not where we need to be right now. So, but, the sun came out today. We're ready to go. We're competing today. It's early in the season, and right now we're really learning a lot about ourselves. We're going through some challenges. It's not been easy, but our ability to continue to get out there and compete, that's UCLA softball.
And Coach, Taylor Tinsley has an elite rise ball. What makes it so good?
God, I've been watching this girl play in big moments. I think she just has a really good flow. She's got a good flow. She has a good feel for the ball. She spins the ball. She's really locked in this year. She's got a great focus. But I think, she's been a product of just really great coaching. She continues to just focus on being the best version of herself. But this year, she's expanded her game. She's got more than just that. And I think that part of it allows her to even be more confident, being a really big go-to for us here in 2024.
Thank you very much, Kelly.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
The Bruins leader now in her 18th season with a pair of national championships. All told, she's been a part of, 8 titles as a player, assistant, and head coach here at UCLA. And one thing that they have had right from the start back to the days of Debbie Doom in the early 80s is just outstanding pitching, all-American caliber pitching. They don't return one of those this year after the departure of Megan Faremo, so we'll see how it plays out as Schneidmiller leads things off with what looked to be a base hit, and she tried to stretch it into a double and gets thrown out.
Well, one thing about this UCLA field is it plays very fast, and we've seen a lot of balls hit to the wall, but they get in very quick. It's sometimes hard to expand a single into a double. Great job by Alchin out in center field to get this in quickly to Savipola, who is easily going to be able to get Schneidmiller out. So a nice hit into the gap, but you've got to know the surface you're playing on. She was out by about 10 feet at second base.
Did she not have her head up rounding first base? Because it was obvious that Alchin had
100%.
gotten quickly to the ball there. So the base running miscue after the base knock.
Well, especially as a leadoff. If there's 2 outs in the inning, yeah, you can maybe push it. But as a leadoff, you've got to take that opportunity to get on base.
Here's Rosie Davis, reached on an error in the second and scored on the Bloodworth home run. 1 run in the first for Oklahoma State, 2 more in the second. Of course, talking with Kelly I, what we were referencing was the loss last night, 16-0 to Texas. And that is the worst loss in school history. So how do you respond? As a storied program that's so proud of their alums, so proud of the legacy, so proud of the success here. This is a big deal today for them. Brady had to go deep in the hole for that, and too much speed from Rosie Davis. Infield hit, and here comes the home run hitter, Bloodworth.
Rosie Davis doing a great job of getting this ball in the 5-6 hole deep, gets past Malulu at third base, and because of that, just not an opportunity for Brady to be able to come up, but with a hard throw, she's down from her knees, and from that position doesn't get as much on the ball, and Davis runs well, beats it out.
It was an 0-2 pitch that Bloodworth sent the opposite way back in the second inning.
Well, and Beth, back to your point about, Coach talking about what do you do after that loss? This is a big game. coming up against Oklahoma State, but she's always said, how do you respond, right? Whether or not you give up the home run or a loss, a 16-0 loss, you know, what is your response? They used to call that the Lisa Fernandez stat. You know, because whenever Lisa Fernandez, something bad would go, that she'd buckle down and great things would happen afterward.
Well, and there's no there's no days off because they go to Clearwater next. And Florida State and Georgia and Tennessee await. They are playing a tough schedule as they always do. Pops her up, foul territory. And making the grab is Woolery. 2 down. Back to the top of the order now, and Talon Edwards. Talon struck out in the first and then singled in the second. Infield hit to the left side. Goes that way, looking for a gap, and she'll find it. That will reach the base of the wall. They are waving the runner home, and now slamming on the brakes is Rosie Davis on the throw in.
Talon Edwards in that leadoff spot has been so strong for Oklahoma State. First pitch swinging on the outer half. It's a screwball, and she just connects with it, drives it into the gap. And again, we saw this earlier in the inning, that how quickly this outfield plays. Good job by Alchin to get that ball in. Able to keep Rosie Davis at third, keep her from scoring, even though Coach Gajewski looked like he was waving her around. She put the brakes on and headed back to third. But see, this is where that mistake by Schneidmiller, by not staying at first, a run not on the board.
She singled and then got thrown out trying to stretch it into a double to lead off the inning. So 2 in scoring position here for Claire Tim. Doubled in the first, struck out in the second. And that hit her. Bases are loaded for the number 3 hitter, Carly Godwin. Singled in the first and then hit an absolute laser out to center field where Jadlyn Alchin made a fabulous catch on her. And the conference here for Palacios and Tinsley. You've had plenty of these conversations over the years, Smitty. What's that chemistry, that relationship like in these situations?
So important, basically coming out and saying, look, don't worry about anything else, get this batter out. That's really what it comes down to. Defense is going to be playing deep, got to out at every, force out at every base, and he's just thinking, get the hitter out.
A rocket, and it's snagged by Mala'ulu at third. UCLA's defense holds up. Kenny Gajewski now joins us. And Kenny, preseason when we chatted, there was a lot of anxiety about so many unknowns on your roster. How you feeling after 4.5 games now with this team?
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, this is a great opportunity to play here at UCLA. But these young guys are just growing up, you know, each day, and it's really cool to see.
And Coach, what has the addition of Caroline Wong been for this team?
This kid, man, I didn't know what we had. I know that she's obviously had some great years, but she's a gamer. She is truly, like, she was over practice, really wanted no part of it, did the work, but when the lights turned on, this kid is business, and it's a lot of fun.
Well, thank you so much, Kenny. We appreciate it.
All right, guys, say hi to my family, my beautiful wives, she's getting ready to give birth here, and to my 2 kids. Hello, love you guys.
Thank you, Kenny.
Yeah, he's got a...
Yeah, big days ahead for the Gajewski crew.
That's right. Number 3 in about 2 weeks.
To the bottom of the 4th we go. Five, 6, and 7 coming up for the Bruins. Charlize Palacios has scored their only run, single to start out the 2nd inning. Came around on a fielder's choice.
Palacios, a big part of the lineup last year, injury late in the season that really affected the team, both defensively as well as offensively.
Big loss.
So it seems like already early in this season, Bruins battling some injuries. And
yeah, they've lost a pair of outfielders already this weekend. Unknown just how long Ramirez and Mioño may be sidelined. But they both suffered injuries that forced them to leave games. Ramirez earlier today.
change up by Kilfoyle, a little bit high, a little bit fast. Learning to control that pitch is so important. I always like to say, throw it at about 40 feet, let it drop in. It's much harder to identify.
Right back to Lexi. One down. Hey, tune in tomorrow for Big Monday. It's number 9 Duke hosting Wake Forest at 7 Eastern. Then number 4 Kansas and number 23 Texas Tech. Both games available on ESPN and the app. Men's hoops for you tomorrow night. And of course, we are building towards the Shriners Children's Clearwater Invitational presented by Evo Shield, our big ESPN softball tournament. 4 days of softball, 40 games that will get underway on Thursday, and all of them available on the ESPN networks and ESPN Plus.
The field, too, is just amazing.
Oof.
It's gonna be a fun weekend.
Both these clubs will be there, UCLA and Oklahoma State. Here's Savipola. How about this lineup? Nigeri Kennedy, Kiki Malloy, Maya Brady, Aaron Koffel. Also on hand, Jada Kearney, Ruby Malon, Janai Kerr, Taylor Pleasance, amongst the All-America candidates that will be there. 5 teams from last year's World Series and 3 former national champions will be on hand.
Stacked.
It's all day, every day. It's like the first and second round of the men's and women's basketball tournaments. Get the Barca Lounger, get some beverages and some snacks. I think the games start every day at like 10 a.m. Eastern. So
Yeah.
if you're out here on the West Coast, wake up with us.
Coffee and softball.
Quite often, that is a springboard towards a Women's College World Series at the end of the year. Infield pop-up. 2 down.
It's a big-time pitch by Lexi Kilfoyle on a 3-1 count. That off-speed catches Pola and gets her to pop up.
Sometimes, too, the field that's so stacked like in Clearwater, it's a real wake-up call. You find out what your weaknesses are. Remember Texas a couple of years ago went 0 for 5 and got hammered, and ultimately they found out what they had to fix.
Yes.
And just a few months later, they are the first unseeded team to ever play in the national championship.
Yeah, and I mean a testament to it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And we've talked about some of the struggles here for the Bruins early in this year, but opportunity for them to be in that same situation. It's not how you start, it's how you finish that matters.
course, with Ivy Rosenberry getting the start and now Kilfoyle coming on in the 3rd inning. These are all first-time matchups with the batters in the order here to see Lexi. This is Jadlyn Alchin. 1 and 2. Going to be fun too to see what the new poll looks like with all the all the teams. 6 of the top 10 have lost. 15 of the preseason top 25 have lost. Oklahoma and Tennessee looking pretty good to stay 1 and 2, but I bet you Texas and Georgia pop up to 3 and 4.
And I think opportunity for maybe Missouri to enter the poll.
Missouri should, yeah. LSU will probably move up from the middle of the pack. Alchin, and back up the middle for a base hit. Top 25 teams that have losses to unranked teams. And that's an impressive list.
Yeah. Charlotte had a big win over Florida State.
Biggest in their program's history.
Yeah. Well, you see that early in the year, especially in these tournaments. You're playing double headers. Maybe you throw your most experienced pitchers in a game earlier in the day, and then later in the day you end up playing someone that you think you're going to be able to out-slug, and then you don't. Or you have a defensive miscue. It's tough, but it's also what you see happen in regionals, right? When events at times when you have to play double headers, a lot of times we've set up conference play to be 1 game a day for 3 consecutive days. The double headers come into play in the preseason, pre-conference season, obviously, and in the postseason. So I do think it is good once in a while to prep your team through the year to be able to play those double headers. A midweek double header, sometimes you really don't want to do it. You think, oh, we're tired, we need the rest, but down the run.
It's hard to go 10-0 in the postseason. That's the goal. If you keep winning, you will only have to play 1 game a day, but easier said than done. As Kilfoyle gets the strikeout of Stevens, 1 base hit, 1 left on. We have 4 complete and a couple of earned runs. And here's Caroline Wong, one of the most dangerous hitters in the Cowgirl lineup. 4, 5, and 6 coming up. Caroline had the RBI single there back in the 1st.
It's interesting starting to see Tinsley use that pitch lower in the zone, so curveball away from the righties and then come back underneath the hands.
She was 6-1 last year. 13 starts, 7 relief appearances behind Megan Ferramo and Brooke Yanez. And she'll take care of Wong here. So a big opportunity for her to step up. All Taylor did, by the way, in her UCLA debut last year was throw a no-hitter. So talk about setting a standard.
Well, a lot of talent. And one of the reasons why is that off-speed pitch right there that she gets Wong to swing through. So she sets her up with the curveball outside, comes back under the hands, and then with the changeup for the strikeout.
That's her 3rd of the game, or 1st since the 2nd inning. And that'll bring up Pouillard. 0 for 2, a fly out to the left side, a ground out to the right side. fouled out of play. .63 degrees and sunny. No wind or breeze to speak of here at Easton Stadium.
Beautiful day for softball. And then that other name this afternoon.
I'm going Chiefs in that one.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think 28-24 I'll go Chiefs.
close. I want a close game. I think all sports should be close games.
I'd love to see that in the championships. Apparently Vegas was a good spot to hold it. Looks like everybody's been having a good old time. 3-1, and Puya draws the one-out walk. Got some more really good college basketball coming your way. Undefeated South Carolina taking on Tennessee Thursday night at 7 Eastern on ESPN. That's the Thursday primetime. And tomorrow night, Juju Watkins and Southern Cal hosting Arizona. We'll have the game for you 9 Eastern on ESPN2. If you haven't seen Watkins, she is the next big star in the game. Has a 51-point performance in a win over Stanford earlier this year. Breaking records that even Cheryl Miller and Lisa Leslie couldn't reach. How about that?
It's impressive.
That walk, the first of the day for Tinsley.
Pitch just a bit outside. Trying to expand the zone, see if they come back underneath the hands a lot. They're working out.
There's a shot back to the track, back to the wall, and it's off the scoreboard and out. 2-run home run. Katie Lott. Second of the day for the Pokes. And a 5-1 lead.
Well, and also another 1-2 count. So ahead in the count, and Tinsley tries to get back underneath the hands and just leaves it a little too sweet. So she goes outside to take the count to 1-2, tries to get underneath the hands, and it just looked like Lott was ready for it and just barrels that up and gets it out of the short park for a 2-run shot.
Home runs from your number 6 hitter and your number 9 hitter today. And both shots, Smitty, had unnecessary baggage on the bases. One runner reached on an error, one walked in front of both home run balls.
Well, and again, 0-2 pitch to Bloodworth that leaves the park, a 1-2 pitch to Lott.
And from unlikely batters as well. Lott only had 2 all of last season. And look at what the Cowgirls have done this opening weekend. 35-5 now, outscoring foes. Ground ball to second. Pola stays down on that. 2 out.
Well, Kenny Gajewski's made some hard decisions. I mean, the summer was hard with the transfers, losing Kelly Maxwell as pitching coach, and then he made some changes with his hitting coach. Vanessa Shippey Fletcher is now the hitting coach, and he really likes what she's done, just trying to get the team to swing free, and they do look like they've been swinging a lot more free here.
Swing and a miss from Davis. Well, both new coaches are from within the program.
Yep.
So there's familiarity, there's some trust there. Already ingrained.
And it also allows Stacy Pestrak to come back into the coaching position as well. She's been more or less director of ops manager, and she's now back on the field as well with that new rule of allowing for 3 assistant coaches.
Davis sends one back, deep, and gone, another one off the scoreboard. The bottom of of the Cowgirl lineup is crushing.
This on a 1-1 count. In the 8-hole, Rosie Davis has had a great game. She's gotten on an error, a base hit, and now the home run, trying to get underneath her hands. And this is that rise ball that Tinsley throws a little bit too close to the zone. It's at the hands instead of above the hands, and that's the difference for a rise ball pitcher. You've got to be at the eyes and above the hands instead of at the hands, and that ball just lays a little flat, and Davis just drives it out of the park. Earlier, I believe that Jada Cecil was warming up in the pen. I don't see anybody now.
Megan Bloodworth, homered in the second, popped up in the fourth. Chop to Brady. That took a funny hop too, and it gets by Woolery at first base. Bloodworth charges into second.
Well, and I think this is again where some of the defensive changes are making an impact a little bit on UCLA. That's probably going to be a throwing error on Brady, but Megan Grant has spent a lot of time at first base. She's had to be in the outfield with a lot of the outfield injuries. So Woolery, who's typically at third, is now at first. And just, you know, those little things get the defense out of rhythm, gets everybody out of rhythm.
Second error charged to Brady today.
An off-speed pitch, it just gets pounded down in the ground, and Brady stays down on it. Throw across her body. She's got enough time to make a better throw, but this is a ball that should be picked. And you can just tell that Woolery hoping for that experience to try to turn things around here against Oklahoma State. Try to limit those base on balls. She's more pitch to contact.
Most of those big numbers, the rough outing last night against Texas. So she comes on here to face the top of the order. Edwards 2 for 3, a single and a double. And with 2 outs here and the top of the order coming up, you are, if you're Oklahoma State, you are pushing to get this thing into run rule territory. With the top of the order here, they would need 3 runs to force UCLA into their final at-bat. Edwards, 5 hits in her last 6 ABs, 4 of those doubles.
Just a great leadoff hitter. A lot of spark, a lot of fire. You just see it in her eyes.
Do they have the goods, Oklahoma State, Texas, do they have the goods to push Oklahoma this year in the Big 12? Sooners won all their games their opening weekend. Their winning streak is at 57 in a row. Edwards launches one. That's back to the wall, and that gets out. Their 3rd home run in their last 6 at-bats. Off of 2 different pitchers.
Well, this is a team that is just swinging it right now, knowing what they're looking for. A pitch on the inner half that Edwards is just going to turn on a 3-1 count. You can see the way she loads. Look at that weight back, so you can really tell she's driving off that backside, rotates around and drives that ball out of the park for a 2-run shot. Edwards showing up with the power this year. A couple of doubles, 3 doubles leading into today's game with a couple of more, and then the home run, her first of the year.
That's a base hit out to left. And that run rule runner is now aboard. If Oklahoma State can get Tim in, then UCLA would be down to its final 3 outs to try and extend this game. Four different home run hitters in the game, so that's 5 different players already this season with a ding-dong. And Edwards with the home run now. And there is another base hit. Tim rambling around third. They're going to wave her in. She will try and score, and she will. And it is an 8-run lead for Oklahoma State. RBI double for Godwin.
Oklahoma State just continuing to hit early in the count. They are aggressive. And even with the differential and velocity between Tinsley and Cecil, this team is not fooled by a pitch on the outer half, and she just drives it. A little bit of confusion in the outfield, but again, everybody's out of position. Ulchin's at center, Grant in right field, and Claire Tim just has a very smooth stride and will score all the way from first base.
Nine to 1, Cowgirls looking to add to it. If you're wondering, it has been 12 years since UCLA suffered back-to-back run rule losses. Texas got them last night. Oklahoma State threatening to do it today.
Good job by Palacios to keep that in front of her. Keep Godwin over there at second base.
Wong is up for the 2nd time this inning. Started out the inning with a strikeout. Drove in a run with a single back in the first. A 6-run 5th.
Leverage count for Caroline. See if she's aggressive on this 3-1 count.
Wong grounds it to Brady. Nice backhand by Maya to throw to first. Got her for the 3rd out. 15. They've been outscored in the last 24 hours, 25 to 1. That loss last night to Texas, the worst the program has ever suffered. If they lose this game, it will equal their worst start since 2007. That is the only time they have had a losing record through the first weekend in their storied history. A stunning development. They need a run here to extend the game. Against Lexi Kilfoyle, it will be 9-1-2. So Maya Brady is set to come up next. Malauulu grounded out in the 2nd. This is her first time seeing Kilfoyle. 3-0. Tessa taken all the way, 3-1. Two.
Kilfoyle doing a good job of working back from 3-0. Malulu looking for something on the outer half.
Malulu. Edwards. One down. And here comes Brady to the plate. We'll remind you to tune in tomorrow for our Big Monday double dip. Men's hoops for you, Duke, Wake Forest, and Kansas, Texas Tech. Both those games on ESPN as well as on your app. Also a great women's game tomorrow night. USC and Juju Watkins taking on Arizona. Crosstown here in Los Angeles. That'll be on ESPN2. Brady walking a ground out. She has seen Kilfoyle once today.
Good first pitch off speed. See if Kilfoyle goes back to that again.
It has been a well-balanced attack for the Cowgirls. 4 different home run hitters. 6 have scored. 8 have at least a hit up and down their lineup. And their pitchers have held the Bruins to just 3 hits into 1 run. Brady ground the ball. And they are down to their final out, trying to stave off back-to-back run rule losses for the first time in a dozen years. And it's Megan Grant who has struck out twice and has started out the season 1 for 12. Grant way out in front. Good off speed.
That's how Lexi can throw it and spin it so tight. Looks like it's elevated and a hard drop coming in, and it's just hard to identify.
Two and one. Down to their final strike. Swing and a miss. Ball game. Oklahoma State with the 9-1 run rule win over UCLA.
Great effort all the way around by Oklahoma State. Strong in the circle, starting out with Ivy Rosenberg, Lexi